Chapter 3. The dead don't talk. I don't know why. Harlow Landerson had been taken away by the authorities. In his wallet they had found 2 Polaroids of Penny Callisto. In the first she was naked and alive. In the second, she was dead. Stevie was downstairs in his mother's arms. Wyatt Porter, chief of the Pico Mundo Police Department, had asked me to wait in Stevie's room. I sat on the edge of the boy's unmade bed. I had not been alone long when Penny Callisto walked through a wall and sat beside me. The ligature marks were gone from her neck. She looked as though she'd never been strangled and had never died. As before, she remained mute. I tend to believe in the traditional architecture of life and the afterlife. The world is a journey of discovery and purification. The next world consists of 2 destinations. One is a palace for the spirit and an endless kingdom of wonder, while the other is cold and dark and unthinkable. Call me simple-minded. Others do. Stormy Llewellyn, a woman of unconventional views, believes instead that our passage through this world is intended to toughen us for the next life. She says that our honesty, integrity, courage, and determined resistance to evil are evaluated at the end of our days here, and that if we come up to muster, we will be conscripted into an army of souls engaged in some great mission in the next world. Those who fail the test simply cease to exist. In short, Stormy sees this life as boot camp. She calls the next life service. I sure hope she's wrong, because one of the implications of her cosmology is that the many terrors we know here are an inoculation against worse in the world to come. Stormy says that whatever's expected of us in the next life will be worth enduring, partly for the sheer adventure of it, but primarily because the reward for service comes in our third life. Personally, I'd prefer to receive my reward 1 life sooner than she foresees. Stormy, however, is into delayed gratification. If on Monday she thirsts for a root beer float, she'll wait until Tuesday or Wednesday to treat herself to one. She insists that the wait makes the float taste better. My point of view is this: if you like root beer floats so much, have one on Monday, another one on Tuesday, and a third on Wednesday. According to Stormy, if I live by this philosophy too long, I'm going to be one of those 800-pound men who, when they fall ill, must be extracted from their homes by construction crews and cranes. If you want to suffer the humiliation of being hauled to the hospital on a flatbed truck, she said once, don't expect me to sit on your great bloated gut like Jiminy Cricket on the brow of the whale singing When You Wish Upon a Star. I'm reasonably sure that in Disney's Pinocchio, Jiminy Cricket never sits on the brow of the whale. In fact, I'm not convinced that he himself encounters the whale. If I were to make this observation to Stormy, however, she would favor me with one of those wiry looks that means, are you hopelessly stupid, or just being pissy? This is a look to be avoided, if not dreaded. As I waited there on the edge of the boy's bed, even thinking about Stormy couldn't lift my spirits. Indeed, if the grinning images of Scooby-Doo imprinted on the sheets didn't cheer me, perhaps nothing could. I kept thinking about Harlow losing his mother at 6, about how his life might have been a memorial to her, about how instead he had shamed her memory. And I thought about Penny, of course. Her life brought to such an early end, the terrible loss to her family, the enduring pain that had changed their lives forever. Penny put her left hand in my right and squeezed reassuringly. Her hand felt as real as that of a living child, as firm, as warm. I didn't understand how she could be this real to me and yet walk through walls, this real to me and yet invisible to others. I wept a little. Sometimes I do. I'm not embarrassed by tears. At times like this, tears exercise emotions that would otherwise haunt me, and by their haunting, embitter me. Even as my vision blurred for the first shimmer of tears not yet spent, Penny clasped my hand in both of hers. She smiled and winked as if to say, "It's all right, Odd Thomas. Get it out. Be rid of it." The dead are sensitive to the living. They have walked this path ahead of us and know our fears, our failings, our desperate hopes, and how much we cherish what we cannot last. They pity us, I think, and no doubt they should. When my tears dry, Penny rises to her feet, smiles again, and with one hand smooths the hair back from my brow. "Goodbye," this gesture seemed to say. "Thank you, and goodbye." She walked across the room, through the wall, into the August morning, one story above the front yard, or into another realm even brighter than Picomundo summer. A moment later, Wyatt Porter appeared in the bedroom doorway. Our chief of police is a big man. He isn't threatening in appearance. With basset eyes and bloodhound jowls, his face has been affected by Earth's gravity more than the rest of him. I've seen him move fast and decisively, but in action, and in repose he seems to carry a great weight on his beefy, rounded shoulders. Over the years, as the low hills encircling our town have been sculpted into neighborhoods of tract houses, swelling our population, and the meanness of our ever-crueler world has crept into the last havens of civility like Picomundo, perhaps Chief Porter has seen too much of human treachery. Perhaps the weight he carries is a load of memories that he would prefer to shed, but can't. "So, here we are again," he said, entering the room. "Here we are," I agreed. "Busted patio door, busted furniture. I didn't bust most of it myself, except the lamp. But you created the situation that led to it." "Yes, sir." "Why didn't you come to me? Give me a chance to figure out a way Harlow could entrap himself." We had worked together in that fashion in the past. "My feeling," I said, "was that he needed to be confronted right away, that maybe he was going to do it again real soon." "Your feeling?" "Yes, sir. That's what I think Penny wanted to convey. There was a quiet urgency about her." "Penny Callisto?" "Yes, sir." The chief sighed. He settled upon the only chair in the room, a child-sized, purple-upholstered number on which Barney the dinosaur's torso and head served as the back support. He appeared to be sitting in Barney's lap. "Son, you sure complicate my life." "They complicate your life, sir, and mine much more than yours," I said, meaning the dead. "Sure enough. If I were you, I'd have gone crazy years ago." "I've considered it," I admitted. "Now listen, Odd. I want you to find a way to keep out of the courtroom on this one, if it comes to that." "I want to find a way, too. Few people know any of my strange secrets. Only Stormy Llewellyn knows all of them. I want anonymity. A simple and quiet life, or at least as simple as the spirits will allow. The chief said, I think he's going to give us a confession in the presence of his attorney. There may not be a trial, but if there is, we'll say that he opened his wallet to pay a bet he'd made with you, maybe on a baseball game, and the Polaroids of Penny fell out. I can sell that, I assured him. I'll speak with Horton Barks. He'll minimize your involvement when he writes it up. Horton Barks was the publisher of the Maryville County Times. 20 years ago in the Oregon woods, while hiking, he'd had dinner with Bigfoot, if you can call some trail mix and canned sausages dinner. In truth, I don't know for a fact that Horton had dinner with Bigfoot, but that's what he claims. Given my daily experiences, I am in no position to doubt Horton or anyone else who has a story to tell about an encounter with anything from aliens to leprechauns. You all right? Chief Porter asked. Pretty much, but I sure hate being late for work. This is the busiest time at the grill. You called in? Yeah. I held up my little cell phone, which had been clipped to my belt when I went into the pool. Still works. I'll probably stop in later, have a pile of home fries and a mess of eggs. Breakfast all day, I said, which has been a solemn promise of the Pico Mundo Grill since 1946. Chief Porter shifted from one butt cheek to the other, causing Barney to groan. Son, you figured to be a short-order cook forever? No, sir. I've been thinking about a career change to tires. Tires? Maybe sell tires, then installation. They've always got good job openings out at Tire World. Why tires? I shrugged. People need 'em, and it's something I don't know, something new to learn. I'd like to see what life's like. What that life's like. The tire life. We sat there for half a minute or so, neither of us saying anything. Then he asked, And that's the only thing you see on your horizon? Tires, I mean? Swimming pool maintenance looks intriguing. With all these new communities going in and around us, there's a new pool about every day. Chief Porter nodded thoughtfully. And it must be nice working in a bowling alley, I said. All the new people coming and going, the excitement of competition. And what would you do in a bowling alley? For one thing, take care of the rental shoes. They need to be... What does that say? No. Irrigated for something between uses. And polished. You have to check the laces regularly. The chief nodded, and the purple dinosaur chair squeaked more than a mouse like a dinosaur. More like a mouse than like a dinosaur. My clothes had nearly dried, but they were badly wrinkled. I checked my watch. I better get moving. I'm going to have to change before I can go to the grill. We both rose to our feet. The Barney chair collapsed. Looking at the purple ruins, Chief Porter said, That could have happened when you were fighting Harlow. Could have, I said. Insurance will cover it with the rest. There's always insurance, I agreed. We went downstairs, where Stevie was sitting on the stool in the kitchen, happily eating a lemon cupcake. I'm sorry, but I broke your bedroom chair, Chief Porter told him, for the chief is not a liar. That's just a stupid old Barney chair anyway, the boy said. I outgrew that stupid old Barney stuff weeks ago. With a broom and a dustpan, Stevie's mom was sweeping up the broken glass. Chief Porter told her about the chair, and she was inclined to dismiss it as an unimportant object. But he secured from her a promise that she would look up the original cost and let him know the figure. He offered me a ride home, but I said, quickest for me is just to go back the way I came. I left the house through the hole where the glass door had been, walked around the pool instead of splashing through it, climbed the slumped stone wall, crossed the narrow alleyway, climbed the wrought iron fence, walked the lawn around another house, crossed Marigold Lane, and returned to my apartment above the garage.